Good morning, or it's not even morning. Welcome back to another episode of FEM Talk. Did you guys enjoy the hiatus? We did, but we are back. And we have a great show ready for you guys tonight. So we're going to bring in the other ladies of FEM Talk because we got good stuff to talk about today. We have...
Hello. Ooh, can you hear me?
Hello, we can hear you. Our host is on mute. It sounds like Shima, you sound like you're on mute now. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
No, we can't hear you. Not sure what's happening, but while she's having technical difficulties, we're going to bring her back in, but we're going to get into that first topic of the night. You know how we start off the show, everybody. Here we go. This is a very sensitive.
Well, all I can say is that when I met this real hero 8 years ago in Los Angeles, California, and I learned what he was doing, traveling around the world with his team undercover, rescuing children who were kidnapped for sexual exploitation, children, 3-year-old boys, 5, 6, 7-year-old girls who are being raped 10 to 15 times a day for many years. And after the client doesn't want them anymore because they're not fresh anymore, they jump into the second business in the black market of organs traffic. They open them and sell their parts. And I was in shock. I was in shock. And he said to me, Eduardo, it's very sad what I'm telling you. But it's more sad now that you know if you do nothing. It's more sad than now that you know it. If you do nothing, what are you going to do?
Right.
I asked myself and I asked God, what can I do to end child trafficking? I'm a filmmaker. I have I don't know how these guys, they manage weapons, right? They're experts. I said to Tim, I have a weapon of mass instruction and inspiration, film, and I'm going to use it. So I made a promise to God that I will dedicate my life to end child trafficking through the art, through film. Thanks be to God. And I said to him, but Tim, what, United States, this is a global problem, right? It's a global problem. U.S. is the #1 consumer of child sex in the world.
So did you get that? That was the hard part that I was stunned by. the United States is the #1 consumer
of child sex. And Mexico is the #1 provider. I'm from Mexico. I love Mexico. I love United States. This nation has been such an amazing blessing in my life. Opened the door to my dreams. God bless this wonderful nation. God bless Mexico. And we need to work together because we're not just neighbors. We're brothers. We are brothers. And we can make America and Mexico great together.
So listen, I wanted to share this. I had a friend, my friend here, Luz, who was actually a guest here on the show. She's a former police officer, but she asked me to go to this movie with her. And I hadn't heard of it before. So I looked it up and we went to see the movie. It's so disturbing, you guys. I mean, this is such a sensitive subject. And I want to give you some stats that they mentioned as you're watching this movie. But when they've started to roll the credits, prior to rolling the credits, they put some stats out there. This industry, and I hate to even call it an industry, right? But this industry is a $150 billion per year industry. It has surpassed gun trafficking, and it is close to drug trafficking, and they expect that it will surpass drug trafficking. And let me tell you what they said in this movie. The reason why they expect this to pass drug trafficking also is because when you sell a gun or you sell a bag of some type of drug, it's a one-time transaction. When you sell a kid, they're selling kids over and over and over again. You heard him on that video said that those kids are abused 10 to 15 times, per day. Per day. This is so disturbing. And I had to share this because, sometimes we take life for granted, right? And we are going about our days and we're not realizing some of the things that are happening. And this is not a widespread thing that they are talking about, even though it's a widespread thing that is happening. It is a global problem that is happening here. And the US, and I'm not surprised by this, but the US being the #1 consumer, this movie was ready for distribution in 2022. And they were met with adversity because they did not want this movie to be put out there because of all the things that this man who was fighting, this is a true story. This was a real Homeland Security agent who was fighting for these children. And what came up in the movie was, and I know I'm going on and I'm passionate, but we got to listen to these things, you guys, and we need to talk about this. And these are the platforms. So when that producer said, this was his way of fighting, this is our way of fighting. Yeah. But what they said here was that they were met with so much adversity that they had to get people behind them in order to be able to put this movie out there. The man in the movie, the real agent, Mr. Tim Ballard, he said one of his co-agents said to him, I don't know if I can do this job anymore. And he said, and they were out there grabbing the traffickers, right? But he said to him, what about the kids? And Mr. Ballard said, I know we're just getting the traffickers off the street, but what happens to the kids?
The kids.
And that sunk in so much that he then made it about saving the children. And you have to see this movie to see what he did, and how much adversity he was met with. They don't even tell you half of what he was met with, but he was met with a lot of adversity, so much so that he quit his job to do this. And this man had 6 children of his own, but he was out there fighting, and he had a beautiful wife behind him who he saved one little boy. He saved this one little boy, and the little boy had a sister, and they were separated. So what he said is, I have to get his sister back. And let me tell you how God is. This was God on this man, because his name was Timothy, and the little boy had a chain in his hand with the name Timoteo on it, which is Timothy in Spanish. That his sister gave him. He was sent for those children. He made it a plight to make sure that he went and got this little girl. And he went into territories that police officers in Colombia don't even go into to save this child. And he made it his business to continue this plight. So what I want to do is to just raise awareness. What we can do as human beings here, as spiritual beings, right? What we can do is just help to raise awareness, to put this out. But I don't want to put fear in everybody, but I do want to put you on alert, because these things are not just happening in Mexico.
Right.
They're happening all over. I happen to live in one of the highest human trafficking areas in the United States, which is North Carolina. I was just told a story. There's a Walmart in South Carolina, very close to where I live, on high alert right now. A woman described being followed in a store by two men. Everywhere she went in the store, she had to go grab a gentleman to walk her to her car to make sure that she was safe, because men kept showing up, and she had her daughter with her. Her little girl, about 7 or 8 years old. This is happening right under our noses. So much so, I saw this movie. I was at the park on Sunday and saw a van. Now I'm really on high alert. And I watched the van to make sure that they weren't lingering around the park, because there was so many children in the park. It was a beautiful day. We have to stay on alert. This is one of those instances, after 9/11, they kept saying, if you see something, say something. This is one of those instances where if you see something, say something. And talk to your children also about, looking out for people who may be luring around them. We have to talk to our children as well. And I took my son with me to see this movie, and he's a bigger boy. So they don't normally, and I'm saying normally, right, take the bigger children, because, they want the least resistance as possible.
Absolutely.
But, listen, nobody is safe. They were grabbing women before, but, we come with resistance, some of us, right? So now they're taking children, and you heard them say that once they're done with these children, they use their organs. Like, I'm so disturbed by this, but at the same time, I'm so glad that we have this platform to share. Go out and see this movie, everybody. We want you to be on high alert. We want you to be aware. And money for this movie, if you're going to see this movie, for this movie is going towards Operation Underground Railroad, which is out there to help save these children. So make sure there's the QR code. Make sure that you donate. Go see the movie. Don't allow them to just allow this movie to go away, because they didn't want it to be put out in the first place. And if you're going to see the movie, when you go, don't leave, because after they roll the credits, they have a message for you, because they really want everybody to know what's happening here, and they want everybody to be a part of it, and they want you to be aware and on high alert. So I just wanted to mention it. And just, listen, everybody, just support these efforts, because there's a quote in the movie that says they asked him, why is he doing this? And he said, God's children are not for sale. I want to reiterate that. As we hear from the beautiful puppies, God's children are not for sale, everybody. And this is why we should join efforts and make sure that we stay on high alert. And this is the trailer.
I don't think I can do this job, Tim. As soon as I lay down, all I see are those kids' faces. How long you been doing this? 12 years. How do you do it?
It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's going to pass the drug trade.
Señor Timoteo, tú rescatas niños, ¿verdad? Quizá puedas ayudarme a encontrar a mi hermana.
Imagine walking into a room right now, seeing an empty bed. What will we do?
We're Homeland Security. We can't go off rescuing kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces. This is my one chance to put those pieces back together. But
talking about extracting an 11-year-old girl from an army of rebels.
Not just her. I'm talking about rescuing hundreds of kids.
She could be a block down the road, or she could be in Moscow, Bangkok, LA.
Over 2 million children a year are being sucked into the deepest recesses of hell. If we do nothing, someday it's gonna reach the likes of you. What if this was your daughter?
Wherever I go, I find my way home.
If you would like to help us expose the horrible reality of human trafficking by bringing this true powerful story to the big screen, express interest now at angel.com/freedom.
Yeah. Powerful, powerful story. So just wanted to put everybody out there on alert. Support this because, like he said, what if it was your child?
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was reading one of the comments, and one of the guests indicated they don't think they could watch this. And I get it. This is one of those things. There it is. And I'm with you, Jamie Lane, but I think you have to watch it. It's one of those movies that I'm a big believer. Pain makes us move.
Yeah.
And I think the pain of what literally is happening to these children need to put us to action. You know what I'm saying? And to your point, I remember looking at, and they still have it, the children's name, the children pictures on milk boxes.
Yeah.
And how many of those children are never found.
Yeah.
And what is even worse about it is that most of these children are brown, meaning of Latina or Black descent. And that's the ones that nobody ever cares for. And it's only when you put, like a couple of times some famous people put their name behind some of these kids that were missing. And that's why they were mobilized to find them. One specific situation, only because the mother got attention from somebody famous, did they look for the child, and they found the child. But they weren't going to look for the child until somebody made a point about it. So I think it's one of those things we just have to grin and bear, watch it, but more importantly, bring support towards it.
Yeah, and that's really what it's all about. I mean, It's difficult to watch. It really is, and there will be tears, and you're going to be hurt. It's painstaking. But we have to raise awareness on this, because I couldn't even imagine my child being ripped away from me like that. And in this movie, the person who took the children that were the main characters of the movie, she posed as a talent organizer, and she came to their home, and the father willingly took his children to her, thinking that he was giving his daughter a shot at her dream. And this woman had a bunch of kids there, right? She made it look believable, but all the kids she took in that same way, and took these kids before their parents could get back to them, and moved them to a freight, a cargo, I can't even think of the name right now, but she moved them and shipped them out. And you heard them say in this clip, they could go to Moscow, to Bangkok, to LA. You don't know where they're taking these children, because there's so many consumers around the world. And Jamie Lane put up a message saying that governments are a part of this. This is why this movie met so much resistance. And I don't
have to be a part of it.
People can look in the face of these children and do the things that they do. These innocent little faces. Like, how? So, I'm sorry that I'm getting emotional, but this is real. This is real. But it needs to be stopped, and we need to talk about it. So the fact that we have this platform, it needs to be said. The same way he put this film out, and they fought to get this film out on the mainstream. We need to fight. Every day that we see something that's wrong, we need to fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm with you too, Jamie Lane. Just we're with you, and we all agree that we need to fight this battle.
Yeah.
To your point, I have 3 babies. They're not babies no more, but I could not imagine for a moment that this could happen to any of the children I know, your children, my children, anybody's child. It's just unheard of.
Yeah.
So let's rally.
Yeah. I was talking to my son, and I can remember him going to practices, and I would never leave the parking lot until I knew if I saw kids standing out there, I wouldn't leave the parking lot because I'm like, I'm not leaving any child behind. I'm going to make sure that these kids get in the cars with their parents. And I made it my business to know the kids and their parents because no child should be left behind. Nobody's child.
Yeah. Sometimes sometimes I just, I was telling somebody today with a totally different topic is sometimes we don't believe how evil people really are.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think we can't, like, to your point, you could hear and see your emotion, and you think because we would just see a movie and be moved by this, knowing it's real.
Yeah.
Not even knowing anybody in it, but so many people know what's going on. Absolutely. And they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
For this to be $1 billion, industry, people know.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're not doing enough
to
do anything about this. So I think I love that we're going to, put this out there, continue to put it out there, post it on the website and get the information out, because this was the first time I heard about it when you brought it to our attention.
Yeah.
To come on the show.
Yeah.
So more needs to get out there. Knowing I've always known about the children trafficking, the sex trafficking. To your point, is one of the biggest. It is the biggest industry on the internet.
Yeah.
It is the biggest industry on the internet.
Yeah.
And just to know that we need to just do a little more to stop it, because to your point, we don't want it to be one of ours.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We don't want it to be anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Eventually, if you don't address it, it will reach you.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
It absolutely will.
Yeah.
We're going to need to take a small break, guys. We're going to come back.
Operate out of your dreams and your vision and not other people's expectation. Having breast cancer wasn't my choice, but the decision to live healthy so that I could stand before you here today, that's choice. You can choose this very moment to change your life from every perspective.
Tracy Randolph was our speaker. She came back because so many people liked her first presentation. I was one of those people that joined her fitness group, and it made me a better leader.
I grew up in a community, but they had limiting beliefs on what a little black girl could do. Everything that you do in this life is a choice. I choose to live healthy. I choose to change my mindset. I choose to be everything that I dreamed of, because I choose faith and I choose me. Live healthy, be everything that you can be today. Choose yourself.
You are watching FEM Talk on Trajectory TV. Welcome and enjoy the show.
We're back.
We're back.
We're gonna get on with today's topic, which is it feels kind of I don't know. We're talking about puppy love and the love we have for our pets and our dogs, and I'm just going to say this now since we're coming off of such a heavy topic. It's crazy how some of us, like you said, Mimi, people we don't, everybody's like Jamie Lane said, everybody's not like us. So people put more care and concern in their pets than they do in the life of children or people's lives, period. So let's just say that as a disclaimer.
As a disclaimer, that's right.
Yeah.
And to have, to even have a pet, your love for people has to be, your love for human beings has to be even that much more. Because your empathy, your passion, where does that come from if you can't appreciate it for one of, a human being, your own race? So, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And to that point, I wouldn't get a dog for so many years because I said I have to pay attention to my children first. Right. And after they've kind of gone, then I went on because it's, I think for, raising children, raising pets is a commitment. It's a commitment. And if you're not ready for the commitment, don't do it. Just don't.
And listen, it's not to discredit the puppies, right? They're just extensions of your family. And life is life, you guys.
Life.
Right? Like, I couldn't even see somebody, and not to compare because, your children are your children, but I mean, it's life. It's another life also. So we don't want to discredit the puppies. They're just extensions of your family. That's all.
Absolutely.
It was just a heavy topic, but I just felt like it had to be said.
No, it was very appropriate.
And like you said, Mimi, you hadn't heard of it. I hadn't heard of it, right? So it's not widely known. So I just want to get it out there. That's all. Yep. But let's talk about the beautiful furry babies.
Furry babies.
Yeah.
As you all know, sorry, we the Fem Talk ladies. Well, three of us was in the background. We are all dog mommies and grandmommies and aunties and stuff. And I say aunties because Coach Tracy has a nephew pup. I want you to coin that phrase.
Nephew pup.
And this is his nephew pup.
There you go.
I know.
And his name is Caillou.
Hello, Caillou.
And I welcome you all to the show, even though I'm not paying attention. Okay.
I Caillou.
I think I see Caillou's friend.
Yes, because believe it or not, I don't have my own dog.
They are your dogs, Mimi.
So I coined the phrase of grandmama. I'm grandmama. And this is my baby. My grandchild Queenie. You can't even see her face. This is Queenie. Look. Look at Queenie.
That's the grandpup.
It's my grandpup Queen, the Queen.
Yes.
And I want to introduce you to the two others. That's my monster.
That's her furry monster. This is Caillou's auntie, and she is the best dog sitter in the world.
Yes.
That's right. You're the best dog sitter in the world.
That's right, because when you have dogs, you need sitters. And I'm going to show you the two dogs. That's right. And I'm going to show you my two dogs I'm sitting right now. The two other ones.
Yes. She is a dog sitter. She's a dog grandma. She got a whole kennel going on over there.
A whole kennel.
We have an assorted breed of dogs. We don't have on the screen at the moment, but our background producer, has her baby, our nephew.
Oh, Yoda! That's Yoda!
Hello, ears.
Look at Yodi.
Yes, that's her baby, and they are super playful. They have always been in the background when we are recording and doing our shows, and you probably see us mushing and swishing and muting.
You keep going like this on the screen.
Being pulled and the camera's coming down a little bit. So we are dog people. And we're going to talk a little bit about them. My breed, we're going to talk about breeds first. That's our first topic. My breed is a Yorkie. He is 5 pounds. Which is not much of anything. He is what when I first got him, I thought he was a toy breed.
Mhm.
And I found out later, because you really should do some research on your puppies.
Yes.
All animals, all pets. But do your research that the toy breed is really not a breed. They breed it to be toy size. He is 5 pounds. He is a regular Yorkie, but he is the smallest of the breed. So what they would call the runt. I got the runt, but I got a regular Yorkie who is only 5 pounds. And yes, he is a pocketbook dog.
He thinks he's about 50 pounds, though.
Who is?
I said he thinks he's about 50 pounds.
I think he's about 50 pounds.
The street,
He's a rambunctious one.
Oh my God.
Well, Queen is a Pomapoo. So she's a mixed breed of poodle and a Pomeranian. She is more of the Pomeranian breed because of the straightness of her hair. She doesn't have fur, she has hair. Pomapoos are known to be very, very friendly dogs. They're great family dogs for if you have kids, little kids. They don't tend to bite. They tend to be very protective, but very, very, very playful. And they grow. She's 3 years old, and she's about 12 pounds, and that's about it. She may get a little bigger. We'll talk about food later. Make sure they don't get fat and everything. But this is her. So this is Queenie.
Yeah.
I have my other friend here. Come here. Oh, he a big one. Come here.
Richie, this one.
Ooh. It's Pepper. Okay, Queenie, here go Queenie. Queen is very.
Queenie is a little jealous.
She a girl dog, so she a little jealous. Here, Queenie, here you go. You're a little jealous though, but this is Pepper. Pepper is also a Pomapoo, but Pepper is more of the poodle. If you notice, Pepper's hair is not as straight. It's curly. Pepper has the best tail in the world.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
tail ever.
If I could put that on top of my head, I would have such a good butt.
That would be great summer.
But Pepper is much bigger. If you see, Pepper is about. I think Pepper is. How old are you, Boom Boom? Are you about 8 years old? Pepper's about 7 or 8. And we've had Pepper. This is Ashley's dog. So this is my other grandpaw. And Pepper is very obedient. You could actually put him outside without a leash. He's very obedient. He comes, he goes and comes as he's commanded. My daughter Ashley trained him very, very well. So this is Pepper. But Pepper, as you know, is much bigger. Oh, he's about good 30, 35 pounds. We have to put Pepper on a little diet. He's doing much better now.
I think those are your dogs at this point.
They spend so much time with her. Are you going to show your other paw? Because I know this one is.
I hate to tell you. Hold up. I have dog hair in my mouth. Now the other one, maybe I could show you him. The other one is Tiger. Now Tiger is very similar to Shima's dog Caillou. They almost look identical, but Tiger's a little different. He don't like people too much.
No.
He don't like people. He's not as friendly, but easy to take care of because he don't come out. He just does what he wants to. He comes and gets you. I gotta go to the bathroom. Get me.
He don't want you to look at him.
Don't get in his face.
Talk to him. If you even look like you coming that way, he'll do this. That means I'll bite you.
Yep.
That's all it means.
He tell you stay away. Stay away.
And then don't look at me as I walk by.
Don't look at me.
Don't.
I say he may be one of them dogs that need a little bit of, assistance, little pill.
Little therapy.
Little therapy. But he has grown to, my husband called me, I don't know if you ever saw 50 First Dates, because he starts liking you when you wake up in the morning. He act like he don't know who you are no more. We're like, what happened? You was here with me last night.
That's hilarious.
I love. So let me see if I can show you. Let me see.
This is funny.
Oh, do you see him?
Aww.
He said,
Tiggy.
And he's turned around.
Tiggy. Hi, Tiggy.
You see his face?
Did you see the look? Like,
he said, don't do it.
Don't
leave me alone.
Mama, leave me alone. But we love Tiggy. Tiggy has learned to love us, and that's my 3 dogs.
That is her 3 dogs.
My 3.
And Brandy, on the other hand, has just the one. She is a new dog mommy.
Dog mommy.
Our new dog parent.
There she is.
There he go, Yoda. That's a big boy.
What kind of dog you have?
That is a big boy. And tell us Yoda's breed.
Yes.
Yoda is a blue Merle Frenchie.
Mm.
So
Yoda.
He's a heavy little boy. He's small, but he's very well made. Muscular little dude. He's about 38 pounds now.
Wow.
And he just knows he's people.
You say what?
So he just knows he's people.
He knows. He said, I sit in laps and I'm good. Mm-hmm. That is wonderful. So we are all dog people. Tracy is the auntie of several dogs. She's also, we're going to talk about foods because that's our next topic. We're going to be talking about the dangerous, toxic ones and the good ones and the treats. And I say that right after saying that Tracy is the dog auntie because she feeds my dog snacks.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Nice. Yeah. Well, speaking of good stuff, it is popcorn. She said
and blueberries.
Oh yes,
popcorn and blueberries. We do popcorn too.
Absolutely.
And blueberries are known to be good for pets.
Very good. And I just read about the blueberries recently. But you know what surprised me under there, because I have a list of dangerous foods. Mm-hmm. Pull out my glasses. That means there's some information coming. Yes. So I was surprised, not by everything, but you know, alcohol, of course, is one of the worst things. Even though you see on social media people giving their dogs beer and vodka and licking. What are you doing with that finger? What are you doing with that finger?
Well, I have to, like I said, this was not my dog from the beginning, okay? Uh-oh. And Queen was raised for her first couple of years in a frat house. So on occasion, she does enjoy a little beer.
A little beer. It's a little bit.
Many a morning, people would get up and their leftover beer would be gone because Queen would have indulged herself to it. So I agree. It's not something we like to give the dog, but just wanted to say
that it happens.
It happens.
Like I said, you will see the clips. People will experiment with the dogs. Now, most of the people who have lived on campus, you have those adventurous people who bring their pups to school. And campus ain't the place not to drink. I mean, there's some people that don't, but it's lots that do. And the ones that don't, they leave it for the dogs.
That's right.
So I have seen it. I'm just telling you, it is not safe.
It's not a wise thing to give to the dog.
Wow. We have a comment from our avid viewer, from Jamie Lane. One of my pugs got hold of weed nugs. He felt a little dizzy.
I'm sure.
Just a little bit, right? Just a little dizzy.
Now I would say on the weed piece. Now, not that I'm a believer in giving dogs that, but they do have different CBD and stuff like that. To that point, I do have these are wipes, and they're hemp wipes, if anybody can see.
Yes.
So there are methods to calm the dog love edibles. I bet they do. But if you have methods to calm dogs down, you can also sometimes they do make because I've gone to go to the CBD store. Yeah. They do have some oils they do prepare for the for the dogs if they are a little rambunctious.
Tell us what now we're gonna divert a little bit. What do you do with the wipe? You wipe the face, or you?
Yes, I wipe the face. I take Queen, I wipe her fully down, and it calms her down. It would calm her down. Now I don't wipe her down when she's dirty, but it's not like every day. But if she's a little bit, because this is a soothing, is scented with vanilla, but it's a hemp wipe. So I would wipe her down, and and it really does calm her down, makes her go right to sleep.
You want to have some hemp wipes?
Eye boogie, that's right. I use the eye boogie remover. Yes, that's a big thing with dogs. The eye boogie.
Yes. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. We're gonna do it. So then, okay. I don't have weed on the list, but let me just run the list real quick. Alcohol, of course, is bad because it causes puts dogs in coma, death, and of course intoxication. Cooked bones can cause stomach lacerations. Dairy, too much dairy gives them diarrhea. Mushrooms, certain kinds, will give them run them into shock or even death. Caffeine causes vomiting, diarrhea, and it's toxic to the heart and the nervous system. Medications, things like Tylenol and Advil. Oh Lord, I'm glad they said that because I'm a culprit. Kidney failure and GI ulcers. Oh my God, I didn't know that. Avocado contains persin, PERSIN, and it induces vomiting or diarrhea. Walnuts and macadamias affects the nervous system and the muscle, and it causes muscle damage. Xylitol, which I believe is in...
Put your glasses on.
It was a little... Oh, okay. It's gum, because I couldn't see that small word.
Oh, the gum.
It's in gum and candy. So that's the fake sweetener. Are you laughing at me?
I'm laughing at you because your mom said your glasses.
Your glasses, boo. Your glasses, boo.
Right. And it leads to liver failure, hypoglycemia, and death. Of course, a lot of people know about chocolate. A lot of people don't know about chocolate, but it is toxic to the heart and the nervous system, and it also causes death. Fatty foods. I was going to save that for last, but I'm going in a circle. Fatty foods is too much for the pancreas. It creates pancreatitis. But I just have to say that my dog was gifted to me. And prior to me getting him, they used to feed him steak and eggs and pork chops and all this heavy, regular people food. I don't even know how he's still living at 5 pounds with all of that. I did not know this one either. Grapes. They cause kidney failure. A biggie, onions and garlic causes blood cell damage and anemia. Well, too much of it. Now, I'm glad they put too much because I do, and we'll talk more about healthcare in another topic, but I give him brewer's yeast, and the one that I give him is coated or is mixed with garlic. So it's a small amount. So like they said, too much is too much. And then the last one on this list is raisins and currants, also causing kidney failure. So they're red flags. Those are all people foods. We eat them all the time.
Right.
So you want to be very careful. The saturated meats. Oh, isn't that the same for people, Coach Tracy?
Yes, it is.
The saturated meats, those things they just do not need. And since we're talking about food, Coach Mimi, you want to tell the people, Coach Mimi, Dr. Mimi, you want to tell the people what you do in the food category?
they call it the homemade gourmet dog food.
Yes, it is.
Let me just say this. It started because when I got in Queen, it was I guess maybe it started with Pepper.
Yep.
But it started with both of them, and they would come to my house and wouldn't eat. Now, I mean, would not, and Ashley was always diligent to bring his dog food, and Nicholas was also. But I remember it was like a couple of days that went by and they weren't eating, so I started to kind of concoct meals for them with like baked chicken, rice, and vegetables. I would grind white or brown rice in some chicken and a vegetable that they could tolerate, mostly peas and carrots, broccoli, things like that. Now what I do, because like I mentioned, both Pepper and Queen, I didn't want them to gain weight. Now what I do is I take cauliflower, chopped cauliflower. So what you saw up there is chopped cauliflower. Brandy, can you put that back up? It's chopped cauliflower, peas, carrots, chicken. And it's a baked chicken or a boiled chicken. And I every night I saute it up for them. I do use a little bit of olive oil, which olive oil is good for them. Keeps their bones nice and lubricated. And that's what
Cafe Anglesey, a dog bistro, fine dining for your pets, reservations.
I love that.
Bistro.
Sounds like that needs to be packaged up.
Right.
I mean, if you see, as you see, they are quite to the point where even Tiger comes out and he participates very actively. As soon as they see me going over to the stove, they know it's time to eat because Mama, it's Grandmama, is cooking it up.
I love it. Oh,
look at you.
My dog is kind of jazzy. I'm just
I love it.
I love it.
Look at them.
While we look at a few of those pictures, I'm going to take some safe food for dog. He's a traveler too. That's my
yes.
He's an avid traveler. Like Tracy said, that is his Easter outfit.
His Easter outfit. I'm gonna say he like go to church, Sheba.
Yeah. And my church at one time will christen your dog if
really?
Yes.
God bless. I love it.
Right.
I love it.
It goes very far. When you love your dogs, you do a lot.
You do a lot.
Somebody said, "Oh
Lord."
So the blueberries is definitely on the list. Apples and bananas, cranberries. I was just eating some craisins. And I was being stalked perfectly. So I gave him one. There's strawberries, there's watermelon, pears, pineapples. If you see a pattern here, fresh fruits and vegetables. And, the ones that are good for us as well, like I said, broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, green beans, pumpkin. The pumpkin is used often to mix in treats and things that dogs like, even in those partially cooked foods that you buy in the store. They usually put pumpkin in it. Oh, Lamont said he feeds the chicken and waffles this morning. No.
Now, let me do a disclaimer. That is not their daily food. That's right.
Right.
They do not eat those things every day. I mean, when Lamont comes now, it's all game is off.
But I think that's just how it goes with children too.
Yes, yeah.
Somebody gotta feed.
Somebody gotta give them a little bit of a treat every once in a while.
A treat, exactly. And speaking
of right now, I do a lot of. I do actually. Me and Queen, we're nut eaters. So Queen does eat cashews and peanuts with grandma more.
And those two nuts don't show up on the dangerous foods. It's odd because now just doing this research, it makes me want to know if, other nuts are on that list. Because like you said, you've eaten peanuts and cashews. They don't show on there. So I'm assuming there are nuts that are okay.
Yeah, you mentioned the almonds and the macadamians, but I haven't, I did look a little bit. They didn't say anything about peanuts or those things. And I guess, to your point, you have to be careful, like even with the bones. And I like that you made the point about the cooked bones, because what happens is the bones, they shatter and they go through their system, and it could tear their system on the inside. And we had an episode once where we gave Queen a rib bone, and she did not tolerate it well.
Right.
And you could tell she was in pain. And we said we was gonna stop that stuff.
Yeah.
Although they don't talk about rib bones, but yeah, you have to be careful. Chicken bones they shatter, they break off in very sharp pieces is a definite no. Chicken bones, turkey bones, those kind of things.
And
a rib bone or a beef bone, they're more hardy. They don't break like that. They have to gnaw on those kind of things. So that's why a lot of dogs, they get that, and that's a little bit safer, because they're not, when they break, it doesn't break like that. They have to gnaw them.
So much.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, you actually do a very healthy and a good and a wise choice, because you have several dogs. Because like everything else, dog food is costly, and trying to feed them a pretty healthy diet is costly.
Very
stuff
expensive.
that's out there is not good. The crumbled chicken feet and all of those crazy crude type of ingredients, they're not great for them. I think I follow your lead. I don't necessarily cook for my dog, but he eats a partially cooked, partially raw diet from Fresh Pet.
Yeah.
Live by it. I love it. You turned me on to the cat food. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It was purchased in error, but the nuggets are small enough for that little mouth, and he loves it.
And that was real. Those were, that was real food. Like, I'll do Fresh Pet and I accidentally bought the cat Fresh Pet, but the little nuggets were so small. Right. It was perfect for Caillou and for Tiger. So they actually liked it. But yeah, you have to be a lot of those dog foods, they're made with sawdust.
Yeah.
They have sawdust in them, so you have to be. I mean, it's not. You really have to read what they are, and to your point, it's not really healthy for them. And when you talk about, and we started the show about talk about how much you care for the pets, and and they're part of your family. And I think for me, it was like, I remember I said, I'm not going to let my kids go without eating. So how am I going to let the dogs go? And, and they kind of give you a sign that I don't like this. Like, for example, as a treat, I used Cheerios. Now I got that one from Jennifer, my niece Jennifer, but they will treat on Cheerios, not the sugary ones, but the plain Cheerios as a little treat.
Well, as we have gone past our time because we love this topic so much. The rest of the topics put in the chat. We'll talk about some doggy care and whether they're pet family or pet friends, whichever you consider.
I can't believe it's the end of the show already.
We had a great show. We had a heartfelt opening. We want to make sure that you stay aware and do your research.
Yeah.
Go see the movie. Like, we're not promoting it in any financial way. It's in a humanity way. Go see it. Go see it. We thank you guys for tuning in with us. As always, we look forward to seeing you next week at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on our next FEM Talk show. Thank you for joining us. Have a happy doggy day.